In this video, we'll talk about alerts, thresholds, and notifications. Still Central has out-of-the-box alerts and thresholds, but it is highly recommended you configure your own that fits your needs. You do so from the Configure menu under the Alerts and Thresholds area. It is highly recommended that you check the help for alert definitions, alert email templates, email, and thresholds. Let's start with email. To get email notification, you need to set the email settings. If you don't want email notifications, leave this area untouched. If you want to get email notification, put your server name, server port, address, secure socket yes or no, authentication yes or no, and you can also send a test email to verify your settings. The messages you will get will be according to the email template. You can see the alert email and the alert cleared email. You can customize the text and add additional tags. It is highly recommended that you check the help for this page. To enable email alert, you go to Configure, Alert Definition, and add an alert definition. Out of the box, you'll typically see a couple of alert definitions. You can change the email settings and the message format from human readable to JSON. You can also add a schedule for blackout for these alerts. It is highly recommended to check the full documentation. You configure the thresholds from Configure, Thresholds. Out of the box, we have a couple of default thresholds and default coloring. The default coloring determines the colors in the geography map and the transaction type. Looking at the documentation, we can see the app deck scores as well as the default coloring. For green, the average metric value is less than minor settings for the time range. Yellow, the average value is equal or greater than their minor settings but less than major settings. Red, the average metric is equal or greater than the major setting. You can also look at this chart in the documentation to understand upper major, upper minor, lower major, and when alerts are triggered. Let's create a simple example. This is our transaction type, and we can see the overall response time. We'll define low thresholds just to see the alerts. You can choose a transaction type or just use default for the sake of this example. You can choose metric. In this case, we'll just choose server response time. For response time, we don't need lower. We'll just choose very low thresholds for upper and save. After letting the system run a little bit, we can now look at the transaction types and see the violation percentage. We can also look at the alert history and see the alerts. Looking at the home dashboard, we can also see color changes. Looking at top transaction types with page load time, page load count, we can also see the color changes. I hope you find this video useful. Thank you very much for your time.